Alright, so, I got to read the news, which is kind of a new thing for me, and, the other day, I noticed there's this thing, right? The second grader got this awesome invention to his school. It is called the Buddy Bench, okay? And it's a fantastic idea for life, really, okay? Because what it is if you're lonely and you want a friend, you sit down on the bench, and people come up and they talk to you. And I think that is a fantastic idea. Like, can you imagine if this bar had, like, a buddy bench and a fuck buddy bench?
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. I mean, somebody followed that. All right.
All right. That's what I'm talking about.
Exactly. That's all we really want. Either friendship or fucking. And if you can find them both, that's great. Like, really, spend half a night on each bench. You'll be fine. Okay, completely different note, though. For those of you who don't know me, my grandmother is Thai. Okay? And I know you can really tell it in my creamy complexion here. But no, my grandma's Thai. And the other day, I was eating soup raw. Which is apparently a thing you can do. But only your grandma gets to call you on it. And so she calls me Fulong. Now the thing about Fulong is that it is like the Thai equivalent of saying honky. And I started complaining about this to my friend, who studied Japanese, and he's like, well, at least she didn't call you guaylo, which is the Japanese equivalent of basically honky. And I had to think about that. I was like, why would that be less offensive? And then I realized that my grandma has like such a tenuous grasp on the English language that it would in fact be doubly offensive if she learned a second Asian language to insult me in. You have my list too. That sucks. I should just had you record this. So, yeah, thank you. So that's my grandma. My dad, on the other hand, is a much more interesting individual. So when I was like 15, alright, me and a buddy of mine get to this waffle eating contest. But the way we do it is like, he ate just a crap ton in a certain amount of time. And then I was trying to beat that time. And as I've got like a face full of waffles, you know, I go and I ask my dad, how much time do I have left? But that's not how it comes out. It comes out a whole lot more like, which is what you would expect. And my dad looks me dead in the eyes and says, funny, that's what your mom sounded like last night with my nuts in her mouth. And I didn't think that was funny. So I tried to argue that point. My dad looked at me and he said, look, just go to school. Ask your friends if it's funny. Turns out I'm wrong. That shit was hilarious. This is the same man that when I was seven, he found out that I had this huge problem when playing baseball. We're like, if the baseball gets hit in my direction and it's flying at my face, I zone out completely. Like, I know what a deer in the headlights feels like. I just go, and then it smacks me in the face. And that's all I get. It's like, it's so pretty. Flash of light. So what my dad did when I was 7 was he bought me a pitching machine, sat it up in the front yard, and sat on the porch, and just watched for like 6 hours as I just... And knowing what I know now, that shit was hilarious. Another horrible thing I've done in my life is I got myself a girlfriend. I know, just one, don't worry. So I got myself a girlfriend, and here's the thing. The only way... I have this wonderful crazy meter, okay? It is spot on accurate, but the way it works is I can look over a vast sea of women, and I'd point to one and I'd be like, I want that one. And it would turn out that she's the craziest motherfucker in that whole batch. That is just how that works every time. This one got angry at me for an argument, or for not defending her in an argument earlier that day. And the way she decided to show me that she was upset about this was to punch me in the face. So when I woke up, I decided that she could defend herself. Nothing. Okay. Alright, okay, I've got one guy. Alright. So who remembers the GameCube? Nobody. Nobody remembers the GameCube. Here's the thing about the GameCube. It was amazing. For one, because it's backwards compatible with the wires with the N64, which is awesome. But for two, with the GameCube, you can unplug that thing, beat somebody with it. It had a handle so that you could beat people with it. Plug it back in and it worked just fine. That thing was like the Nokia video game. It was awesome.
awesome, nearly indestructible. Another slightly nerdy thing I do is I watch anime. Okay? And by round of applause, who here knows what Dragon Ball Z is? Okay, so we got a few of them. That's awesome.
Or Hadouken out, decide which.
Hadouken's faster. I'd go with that. But my point is, I was watching that just bait, which is my favorite way to watch anime. Cartoons in general, really. And I was thinking, the way power levels work in this universe is like the more you train, the faster your muscles twitch, the stronger you get, right? And so I get to thinking, like, what happens if Goku hits like Super Saiyan 3 and he's got Chi-Chi on his lap and he's like, Kamehameha, and her brains just fly out the window. And that's why Gohan had to be born at the beginning of the series. Wow, really? Nothing. Awful. That's not nice. Thank you. I'm glad somebody loves me. Alright. I'll wrap this up for the gentleman in the corner there.
So the other day, I'm sitting at Denny's, and I read what is obviously a firefighter's shirt. And on the back, it says, "We fight what you fear." And that is obviously bullshit. I cannot call the fire department when I've got a spider in my house. They will laugh at me. If I call the fire department and tell them that there's a clown outside my window, they will tell me to quit taking acid. Those motherfuckers wouldn't even fight my girlfriend for me. That's my time for tonight. Thank you, guys.